So, another day, another conversation that a lot of people are going to be flocking over. Today we are heading over to one of the earlier episodes of the 32 Thoughts podcast. I remember listening to this in particular from the episode entitled Everything is Happening, although the newest episode was released today, so if you want to go ahead and listen to that, then hey, that's all your prerogative there. But today's topic revolves around Red Wings forward Patrick Kane, because there were some extra comments made by Friedge in regards to the Kane sweepstakes. And I think, is it fair to say sweepstakes at this point? Okay, I'm going to start creeping that word into my vocabulary, my lexicon when it comes to things to talk about with Patrick Kane, because when it comes to the recent thoughts put out here by Friedge, you do have yourself some articles that were published that transcribe a lot of this stuff, so what I wanted to do was review it, just go over it, and talk about Friedman's latest comments in regards to Patrick Kane. So we have this article firstly from HockeyLatest.com. I like it because it transcribes some of these quotes. Here's one of the things that Elliotte Friedman recently said about Patrick Kane. It was a bit of a different tone, referring to the season-ending comments, I'm pretty sure, which surprised me a bit. What that says to me, and I understand this is from his point of view, is that, look, Chicago in his whole career, a year and a half or a quarter of last year with the Rangers, and now this year with Detroit, Patrick Kane strikes me as a guy who wants the revolving door to stop. He wants to go to one place and stay in one place for a little bit of time. And Steve Yzerman, he's very careful about term. He's given 8-year deals to Larkin. You've got to do that. That's your captain. But with older players, he's careful. He does a lot of 4- and 5-year deals now. He's not going to give Kane 4 and 5 years, though. I don't think Kane expects that. But what it says to me is that Yzerman probably doesn't want to give as much term as Kane would like, and so we'll see how that plays out. Now this, of course, is a pretty big one, because when it comes to the so-called revolving door, it is a pretty interesting point of contention where you think about Kane in his career, because now he is 35 years old, and if he wanted to be in this spot where he values more so the stability rather than the cup-winning potential, you might just go out there and see him sign a longer-term deal with a team that might not be the most top-of-the-line, game-breaking playoff contender every single year. Because realistically, what team is going to be able to do that if they're that good already? A lot of the good teams have money tied up in other players, they're trying to survive on LTIR, etc., etc., so Patrick Kane, wanting to go with a term-filled contract, might not have a choice but to sign with a middling team that is in the middle of the pack and is barely trying to squeak into a wildcard position, etc. And so when it comes to the Chicago conversation, because, everybody's talking about Chicago, even Friedman and Merrick talk about the idea of Utah on another one of the episodes of 32 Thoughts. It's like, there is an opportunity here for Kane to maybe take advantage of some of these other situations around the NHL where they need star power, where they need guys, where they have money, but that might come to a cost of his potential playoff odds. He signed with the Red Wings for the 1-year tryout year pretty much, and we knew that the Wings weren't going to be an immediate cup contending favorite, even with a Patrick Kane on their lineup, but he did help, and there was some good experience built up there, being a part of a team that is sort of in the middle of the pack. Kane was a part of a whole bunch of really good teams and then a bunch of really bad teams with Chicago, so seeing him go through this revolving door, so to speak, of different opportunities with different squads, it has been pretty interesting. Now, if he does value that stability, it really does depend on whether or not the Detroit Red Wings will be able to give that to him too, because as Friedman did note, term is a very interesting thing with Steve Yzerman. It's either, okay, we're going to sign you to a long-term deal because you're young, we drafted you, we developed you, and out of your ELC, you could get as much money as you want, like a Raymond or a Sider or even a Dylan Larkin or whatever. And if you're a middle-aged guy, you're already an established player, you could get, let's say, the 4 or 5-year deals. Comfer, I think, are the two biggest examples of that kind of contract being given out. But then you have to think, okay, some of these other guys that are talented don't get the extremely long contracts. Alex DeBrincat, for example, is only signed on for 4 years. Patrick Kane. Is Yzerman going to go 4 years for Patty Kane till Kane's 39 years old? One would probably assume no. That doesn't seem like the most logical thing to do. But then again, another team out there that is a little bit more financially free might be able to do that. Say, okay, yeah, we'll just give you as much money as you want because we need you here. For Detroit, depending on what Kane ends up going for, this is going to be a really big indicator as to what Steve Yzerman is valuing in his team. Mostly for the long term rather than just for the now. Because of course, I mean, Patrick Kane now was a point per game guy. So you could totally see why that would be an appropriate move to bring him back and have him with DeBrincat, etc., etc. But if the cold hard truth is that he just wants stability and the Red Wings are not comfortable giving him that, then we'll see where exactly this goes. So if I was a betting man, which I'm not, but if I had to wager a bet, I'd say probably Kane is gone. But that's just because we don't have enough information to supplement, oh yeah, they're gonna get a thing done, like they're gonna be able to do this, they're gonna align properly with their values. Like I don't think we've seen too much of that so far out of the Red Wings. And I mean, of course, you could say Steve Yzerman is a vault and he has his secrets that nobody's ever going to find out about until a trade or a signing is made. That's totally fair as well. But I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you had to choose, bet some money, bet your entire life savings. Martians got the death beam pointed at Earth. You want to go Iguodala or Curry. It's the biggest wager of your life. Is Patrick Kane a Red Wing in 2024-2025? I'm personally going to guess no, but I would love to be proven wrong, because at the end of the day, I mean, he was a very good player, so there certainly is a lot of value there, depending on where he's able to slot into the lineup. If he's able to be a point-per-game guy pretty much till he's 40, which I don't doubt is a possibility, then that would be absolutely astounding. I mean, it's a very rare thing to see guys Patrick Kane's age still be able to do Patrick Kane-like things, but as we've talked about in the past, you know, Kane is the exception, not the rule. He has always been the exception. If there's anybody out there who over the course of his entire career has been able to beat all the expectations, it's been Patrick Kane. Literal GOAT status of the 2010s decade. He's one of the best of all time in this era. So why go out there and doubt him? It's just a question as to whether or not a team would be willing to pay him as much money for as much term as he would be asking for. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about these Elliotte Friedman comments. I'll leave a link actually in the description to 2 articles because we pulled the quotes from those 2 pieces on hockeylatest.com as well as hawksinsider.com. Surprise, surprise, the Hawks Insider article, quote unquote, is going out there and talking about how Kane could sign with Chicago. But yeah, we'll see what happens. You know, I kind of like the idea of having Kane and Bedard together, just kind of a skill point of view that seems like a very good fit. If the Blackhawks get Zegras too, everybody talks about these 3 guys. Yeah, Kane, Bedard, and Zegras. How crazy, puck-dangly, Harlem Globetrotters-y would that be? So I'll leave a link in the description of both of these articles. I'll also leave a link in the description to 32 Thoughts, the episodes that we pulled from, or the conversations that we had talked about from these quotes. Everything is happening, as well as I'm pretty sure the new one has some stuff as well, although I'm not 100% confirmed on that. So, Elliotte Friedman's comments on Kane. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Where does Patrick Kane go? Chicago or Detroit or Utah even? Because that was a possibility. If Kane goes over to Utah and he plays with Mitch Marner, because everybody's talking about Marner too. Keller gets traded over to Toronto, etc., etc. If you have Marner and Kane together, is that not like a match made in heaven? Yeah, man. Talk about Kane and Bedard. Kane and Marner sounds even better, but that's just me though. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about these Patrick Kane potential line mates and where he goes next season. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.